Coming up.
Can I just interject here?
Take that, Adolf.
And that man a banana.
I'm being really militant today.
I lived in that house.
It's a euphemism if ever heard one.
I'm a builder, you know.
Medium skinny latte, not too hot, about 120 in a takeaway cup.
I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest with you, Mark.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I don't know, darling.
Too right, Squire.
Oh, lots of lovely oomph there.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that? Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That, sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk, the podcast for voiceovers, podcasters and anyone else with a professional interest in how your script should sound. Yes. Let me introduce my co-host Samantha Boffin. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Now, today's fun fact about Sam is that she was once a kitchen maid in a small castle in Scotland.
I was.
Wow.
I was, for one crazy summer. And they before they employed me, and I was employed by, if anyone remembers, MFI.
Yes.
The furnishing people.
Indeed.
I was employed by Mrs. Mullard of Mullard Furnishing Industries. Oh. And she owned a castle in Scotland. And I was, it was because her secretary lived over the road and I needed a holiday job.
Fair.
And now I'm a vegetarian. And
yes. I
then later discovered, or when I got there, I discovered that I was a kitchen maid for the grouse shooting season.
Oh.
So, it's I've got a lot of stories about that particular one. I was eventually taken off kitchen maid duties.
That's one, if you see Sam out and about and you buy her a gin and tonic, she'll tell you the stories, yeah?
Yeah, there are saucy stories from that one. It was very good. It was a fun holiday job, like something out of Agatha Christie.
Exactly.
Well, and my co-host is Mark Rice, who always likes the same order from Costa Coffee. Go on, tell us what it is then.
Medium skinny latte, not too hot, about 120 in a takeaway cup.
Oh, my God. Do you always go to the same Costa?
No. It's the same order wherever I go. Well, of course, it's not just us here. Every week we invite a voiceover guest to come and share their opinions and their talent, of course. And this week, it's voiceover and very famous copywriter, Bruce Fielding. Hello, Bruce.
Hello, chaps. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. It's lovely to have you here.
It's lovely to be here.
Oh, Bruce. Well, look, let's find out a little more about Bruce.
Indeed.
He hasn't lived a quiet life. I love this fact. He once blew up buildings for a living.
It's true.
Excellent. Well, you've also rented out deck chairs and you've helped explorers reach the North Pole in a rowing boat.
Wow. But of course, mostly he's worked as an advertising creative. His background is an advertising copywriter, and that serves him well in communicating messages with, Bruce, just the right amount of sell, I would have thought.
Yes, I think so. Because it's really hard to work out exactly how selly stuff needs to be. You used to have to be able to put yourself in the position of the buyer. So whether I was doing ads for Ryvita, where you were looking at sort of putting yourself into when I was like 14 stone, I was quite skinny, and I was trying to advertise this stuff. I have some very good Ryvita stories, probably similar to the stories that Sam has about her shoots.
Although, if you buy Bruce a gin and tonic...
I'm sure he would.
These days, Bruce voices corporate narration, documentaries, e-learning, ad explainer videos, and lots more. So, what is your fun fact, Bruce? I've had a lot of good facts there. What's your fun
so
fact?
far.
Crikey. You know the lady in the van? You know the...
Yes,
Alan
Bennett.
Yeah?
I lived in that house.
No.
Yeah,
the house they
amazing.
filmed in.
Yeah, they actually filmed in that house, and they used one of my cars in that film, so the red one. And so after I moved out of my house between flats, Alan said I live next door to Alan, and he said just come and stay in my house. So I did.
That's
and I played with
amazing.
his BAFTA.
It's a euphemism if ever heard one.
Indeed, absolutely. And I frankly think on that note that we ought to have a look at the first script of the show, to be fair, and ask, how do you say that? Play How Do You Say That?
Now, Mark, you have been working on this first script recently, and it looks a lot like a local radio commercial.
Exactly
right. What can you tell us about it?
It definitely is a local radio commercial. It's one of those £27 and 5p ones that we do a lot of, whatever it is now. It's a window firm. They said they would quite like estuary if possible.
Right.
But I'm not gonna force that. But it is, if you put yourself in, they wanted it being a builder.
Oh, it's right up my street, love. Right up my street.
I thought you'd love this.
Right then.
Hello. I'm a builder, you know. Actually, you do get some quite posh builders, don't you?
You do, you can.
So I'm going first. All right then. Okay. At Box Trade Windows, we deal purely with the trade, and the trade get the very best price guaranteed every time. Like Bespoke Composite doors, manufactured to any design in over 1,000 colours from only £450. Secure by design option, available for new build. If you're in the trade, visit our trade counter at Colonial Park, Emperor Road, Northampton, or go to boxtradewindows.co.uk.
Lovely. My note would be probably twice as fast, please.
Yes, well, of
it's
course.
one of those.
Yes, it's one of those. Is it? I
Afraid so.
put myself off. Well, I wasn't going fast enough anyway, but I did put myself off because I did a very posh like.
Lick,
So
lick,
in the middle
lick.
of my estuary, I
Yes.
went guaranteed every
Yeah.
time. Like
That was really lovely. It was soft estuary. That was great.
Do you guys have like a cab driver voice?
I think you
Oh,
might be about to hear
darling.
mine.
No, I've got a bit of a cab driver
Yeah.
voice.
Lovely.
But that,
Lovely.
mind you, that's a bit stereotypical. There's probably very posh cab
Well,
drivers
no, I
out
mean,
there.
it's like when you're sitting in the back of a cab
Oh,
and you're
I
talking to the
see.
driver.
Oh, I see.
You kind of I
Yeah.
have a fairly poshish voice, and my voice sort of like drops down to being
Yeah,
like
mine
cab
too.
driver voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
And also that typical question that comes out going, so what time do you start today? What time do you knock off? It's like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that.
Hey, no, the bloody roadworks everywhere.
Yes, totally, exactly right. Yes, I think we've all got one of those. So
Yeah.
that was lovely. That was lovely, Sam.
I think slower, and I think you could probably almost go even a bit more sort of estuarine. And,
Yes.
Is that a term, estuarine?
It is now.
Bloody hell! Never heard of that. I will put that in my book. So a bit.
Estuarine. I'm going to believe Bruce in that because Bruce is a wordsmith. So if he says it's a word, it's a word now. So Bruce, it's your turn for Box Trade Windows. I'd like to hear how your estuarine does it, if that's okay.
My back of the taxi voice.
Yeah.
Okay, right. At Box Trade Windows, we deal purely with the trade, and the trade get the very best price guaranteed every time, like Bespoke Composite doors, manufactured at any design in over 1,000 colours from only £450, secure by design option available for new build. If you're in the trade and have ready cash, visit our trade counter at Colonial Park, Emperor Road, Northampton, and let's not worry about the VAT man, or go to boxtradewindows.co.uk.
Nice. Adding a little touch in there. Now, interestingly, Sam went £450
Yeah.
and you went £450 because
Yeah.
it is not specified and it was not specified by the client.
I was tempted to go quid.
I went with quid in the end.
Did you?
Yeah, I went with quid in the end, and that's what was in the commercial. But
Cool.
but it's one of those ones that I didn't ask. I think I probably did take with pounds and pound.
Yeah,
Probably.
pound.
Pound.
Was it a live session? Did they direct
No,
you?
it wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I sent them 3 different kind of versions.
I think it helps having lived in Northwest London pretty much my entire life that I can kind
Yeah,
of put on a
of course.
Northwest
Yeah.
London is fine.
Exactly. I'm going to say it was a bit more. I did it a bit more estuary than that.
Even
and they
more-
kind of it was blokey jolly estuary kind of.
Oh, you were
kind of
cheeky chappy.
Cheeky
Yes.
chappy. So shall I show you? Shall I show you?
Yes, please.
Do your cheeky chappy.
At Box Trade Windows, we deal purely with the trade, and the trade get the very best price guaranteed every time. Like Bespoke Composite doors, manufactured to any design in over 1,000 colours from only £450. Secure by design option available for new build. If you're in the trade, visit our trade counter at Colonial Park, Emperor Road, Northampton, or go to boxtradewindows.co.uk.
Oh, lots of lovely
Yeah.
oomph there, like your
You were
windows.
moving along nicely, wasn't it?
Yes, I think I can see the gulf between what I did and what you actually did for real. Yeah, no, that was great.
Speed-wise, I mean, I think it's
Lots of
interesting that they
energy.
asked for that. It
Yeah.
is stereotypical, of course it
Yeah.
is, and you know we all hold our hands up and go, oh no, that's terrible. That's not the realism that everyone wants these days. But just occasionally you get a script through where they don't want the realism. They want the
But
archetypal
it sort
builder.
of is real in a funny sort of way, isn't it? It's like if you were talking with a fast talking Cockney, you know, it's like look, I've got a deal for you. It's a really good deal. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit, it fell off the back of the lorry. It's got a few dents on it, but it's great.
Exactly.
It's always quick.
Yes.
It is always quick. It is always quick. Yes, very much so.
So it is worthwhile remembering that these are real scripts. They're real scripts we've been working on.
Yeah.
And we've changed the names and some details to avoid copyright issues, all right?
Indeed we have, yes.
Too right,
absolutely.
Squire.
Exactly. That was awful. I'm so sorry about that. I apologise. I
loved it.
apologise profusely.
Well, Bruce, your script's a bit different because rather than work with one that you've voiced recently, you have brought in a script that you wrote a number of years ago for a very, very famous advertising campaign. What else can you tell us about it?
This company that produced flour came to us as an agency and said, we've got this flour to sell. How can you sell flour, wheat, bread, all sorts of things?
Yeah.
And then we went into the bread that they made. And we thought, well, there's only one difference between, this bread and kind of like your sun blessed and all that stuff, which was around at the time.
Your mother's pride?
Your mother's, exactly.
Yep.
You're
I
nimble.
remember. Yes, nimble, absolutely.
Yes.
Slim Steer.
I had a chat to them and said, well, okay, tell us the story of Allinson. Who is it named after somebody? And they said, yeah, it was named after a doctor who was firmly believed that wholemeal bread had more stuff in it that was better for your health.
Right.
Right, okay.
And nobody believed him. And he decided to set up his own mill, making his own wheat and therefore baking his own bread.
And Brian Glover was the original voice of this commercial, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brian used to be, he used to be on Tetley. He's famous for things like Tetley.
Yes, Tetley tea, yeah.
And things like that. And he was in Kes.
Yep.
He did some whitbread commercials, like very, very northern chappy. He was actually an actor and a part-time wrestler. He wrestled under the name of Leon Aris, the man from Paris.
The man from Paris, exactly. Now, interestingly, when we talked about stereotypical estuary-type voice, Brian Glover was like the archetypal northern voice, wasn't he, at that point?
Hey up.
Now, can I just interject
I know
here?
that you're not happy with this, Sam, are you?
No, not. Well, it's just that
The generic northern
the
thing.
generic northern
Yeah.
thing is. This is Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm going to embarrass myself later, of course, because we're going to have to kind of dive into this script. But there are so many different Yorkshires as well.
There are.
Did that matter back in the day?
I don't think people got upset about it. I think the Hovis commercials were kind of out there and saying that northern bread was the bread to have.
Yes.
So I think
So that wasn't something.
voice.
What I'm thinking is, from the point of view of the advertising agency, was that something that you were worried about?
It wasn't sort of like, darling,
No.
I'm sorry, he's not from Leeds. We can't possibly. It wasn't that kind of thing. But it was just like, let's get a really well-known voice who's got a great sort of rustic, earthy accent that works really well with the bread. So the cast. I mean, I cast him, so I must have had a good reason for it.
Yeah.
And it was it was decades ago, so I can't remember exactly. But he just seemed right for the brand.
I am itching to have a go at this one because I remember this commercial so well, and it's beautifully written, but it is written in northern language, so it's all there. The TH apostrophe industrial revolution, the twir, the win now. It's all there, and I'm looking forward to it. So shall I have a bash?
Please do.
Okay. Right then. Now here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a reet special flour. Tom Allinson, that were his name. For just after the industrial revolution, all but he were for bread as white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal. But young Tom in a loud voice said, no, yon white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some of clout. Wholemeal's better all told for young people, 'cause it's bread that's had nowt taken out. And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt. 'Twere Tom Allinson's thoughts that were proper, and bread's better, we're now taken out.
Very nice. You got the you absolutely got the rhythm. Absolutely.
Only just got there in the end, yeah.
But did it? Because let's be honest, it's going to bother me massively when I try and do that. Did it bother you at all that you were having to do a kind of cod northern?
No, because I get asked to do that quite a lot.
Really? And
Yeah.
you're shameless, are you?
I am shameless, absolutely. Yep, too right. I'll often put it in as a second or third audition read as well.
Really?
Just to give it a bit of difference.
Oh, you're braver than me. You're so much braver than me. What did you think, Bruce?
I thought you did a very good job. I wrote it based on the I don't know if you know a thing called The Lion and Albert.
Yes.
By Stanley Holloway. There is a famous
Yes,
seaside play school, Blackpool, that's noted for fresh air and fun. That one.
Yes.
So it's written in that meter.
Right.
I think you did a very good job.
Thank you. I tried.
Well done.
But I think you did an excellent. Were you running the music in your head at the same time?
Kind of, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very, not so much visualization, but whatever that is when music is in your ears. Yeah, very much so.
I can't see it. I can't even read it without that music
I'm
playing
sure.
in my head.
Wow.
Yeah, very much. Sam, you know you've got to have a go, don't you?
I do. And I just want to put out a public apology right now because I feel that I need to embrace some kind of approximation to the Yorkshire accent. But I do apologise right now, everybody. I'm not as shameless as my co-host.
If you're listening in Sheffield,
Right
we
then.
apologise.
So, right then, well, I've got to get into this somehow. And I hope my husband does not listen into this. Right then. Now, here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a right special flour. Tom Allinson, that were his name. For just after the Industrial Revolution, all but he were for bread white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal, but young Tom, in a loud voice, said, "No, yon white bread's all right, that'll grant you, but you've taken away some of clout. Wholemeal's better all told for young people, 'cause it's bread that's had taken out." And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt 'twere Tom Allinson's thoughts that were proper, and bread's better were nowt taken out.
Bum bum.
Lovely. Now, you took some of your natural depth of your voice out there and you went slightly lighter with it as well, Sam. I noticed that. And that really worked beautifully.
It did. It worked really, really well. Interesting that you said wholemeal.
Wholemeal's better. Wholemeal. As opposed to what?
Wholemeal.
Wholemeals.
Wholemeal.
Well, yes.
Wholemeal.
Let's go back to my caveat. I'm not a Yorkshire woman.
Fair.
Because I know that I've written it as wholemeal with a W. But
Yes.
wholemeal.
Take away some of that clout.
Interesting.
Wholemeal's better. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, nobody would ask me to do that in reality. But if I was doing...
Me either.
No one in their right mind. But if I was doing... if I was in a play that demanded a Yorkshire accent, say,
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
or maybe a part of a book that maybe there was somebody, then I would work quite hard to get it right. But yeah.
I thought it was nice, Sam. You're beating yourself up and you absolutely don't have to.
Well,
No.
it's because I truly believe that if you're going to get somebody to do an accent, don't get them to do an accent. Actually choose somebody that's from the area.
That's why it's called acting.
Yeah, but that...
Is this the voice equivalent of sort of like getting somebody who's not from a certain country, sort of a black actor or an Indian
Yeah.
actor, to do a script
Yeah.
in a black or Indian
Yeah.
accent?
Yeah, you
It's
just
sort of-
say no. Just say no, guys. But I gave it a go.
You did,
You did.
and it was lovely.
You did very well. The great thing about writing these things is that you just have to cast it and sit behind a piece of glass.
Of course
and
you
go
do, but
it
we're going to
again.
make you do it now.
And you cast a Yorkshireman.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right then, now, Bruce.
The trouble, I've got Brian's voice running in my head,
Which is,
so
in which case, you'll be brilliant.
So I'll do it exactly as Brian.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay. Now here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a right special flour. Tom Allinson, that were his name. For just after the Industrial Revolution, all but he were for bread white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal, but young Tom in a loud voice said, "No! Yon white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some of clout. Wholemeal's better all told for young people, 'cause it's bread that's had now taken out. And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt to Tom Allinson's thought that were proper, and bread's better, we're now taken out."
Lovely. I mean, yes. I mean, and to be fair, because you're so familiar with it, the rhythm was beautiful.
And I have to confess, I'm not familiar with it at all. But what I thought was fantastic, and what I didn't do, and I don't think listening back, Mark did either, is get that passion in young Tom's loud voice.
Agreed.
I think you absolutely,
that.
You made. And that comes right in the middle, and that really lifts the idea of it.
It does.
To get somebody as passionate as that. And I totally didn't do that. I was so worried about the...
Client made me change it, actually. I've now remembered that your white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some clout. Because they made other stuff. Because I'd originally written it, but you've taken away all its clout. And they take all its clout away, and some went back in.
Interesting. But I remember the pictures now, because you see Tom and it's Brian's voice voicing what he is mouthing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. If I can find the original on YouTube and rip it off, I will put it in the show right here.
Now here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a right special flour. Tom Allinson, that were his name. For just after the Industrial Revolution, all but he were for bread white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal, but young Tom in a loud voice said, no, the white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some at clout. Wholemeal's better all told for young people, 'cause it's bread that's had nowt taken out. And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt. 'Twere Tom Allinson's thoughts that were proper, and bread's better, we nowt taken out.
How do you say that? Right, so that's how we did the script straight. Well, straight-ish, I guess. But now it's the section of the show where we almost see that anything can happen. Tears to laughter and everything in between. It's the wild card section. So let's see if we can approach these scripts in a completely different way.
Oh, please, Bruce,
God.
can you pick one of the scripts for me, please? I'm so excited. And think of a new motivation for me.
Well, I think box trade windows.
Okay.
And I think you should do it in an incredibly posh voice.
Yes, just completely opposite, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nisi, I will take issue with that, mister.
Oh, dear.
I'm being really militant
You're
today.
on your soapbox today, aren't you?
Because, Yorkshire there's posh everywhere you go. Posh Yorkshire.
You know what he meant when he said posh.
I
You
do.
know that.
Okay. Right then. Okay. All right then. At Box Trade Windows, we deal purely with the trade, and the trade gets the very best price guaranteed every time, like Bespoke Composite doors. Yes, we can manufacture to any design in over 1,000 colours from only 450 of your good English pounds. Secure by design option available for new build. If you're in the trade, visit our trade counter at Colonial Park, Emperor Road, Northampton, or go to boxtradewindows.co.uk.
I love that. Do you know, it reminded me of Linda Snell from The Archers. So if there are any Archers fans listening, it was very Linda Snell.
Marvellous.
And that is a compliment. That is definitely a compliment.
Jolly good.
Oh,
I liked
great.
that. Yeah.
That was really nice. That was fun. I mean, you could almost go like completely sort of like not opening the mouth at all and just kind of keeping a light smile on, just talking the whole time without actually doing anything.
Like Margot Ledbetter.
Oh, Margot. Yeah, no, you're right. I could have done a Margot Ledbetter. You're absolutely right. And
I
would have
love
been very
that. I love
exciting.
that. I am going to suggest one for Bruce now. Bruce, I'm going to get you to do the Allinson script. But I'm going to get you to do it in a different way, which might mean that it takes all of the rhythm out of it. Okay. Can you do for me? I was thinking, could you do like an excited monkey?
Blimey. No, I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest with you, Mark. I wasn't expecting an excited monkey.
Okay, I think I might turn down the gain a bit for this one.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. If I'm being really honest, I was thinking more cartoon monkey.
Cartoon monkey.
Oh.
Okay. All right, here we go. Cartoon monkey. Here we go. Now here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a right special flour. Tom Allinson, that were his name, for just after the Industrial Revolution. Oh, banana. Oh, but he were for bread, white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal. But young Tom in a loud voice said, No, 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 no. Yon white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some of clout. Wholemeal's better, all told, for young people, because it's bread that's had now taken out. And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt. 'Twas Tom Allinson's thoughts that were proper, and bread's better with mout. Take it out.
Nice. Hand that man a banana.
I am so impressed that you had the chutzpah to do that.
I know. I had in my brain that you were
good.
holding a banana. It did work. It really worked.
Did you change your stance at all during that? I'm into visualization. Did you visualize? Did you move?
I can't remember which monkey it is, but I had that sort of like classic cartoon monkey in my head. Absolutely.
Nice.
Brilliant.
It worked.
Right, let's move on. Okay, so what I want you to do, Mark.
Yes.
I want you to do vintage newsreader.
Ah.
Now, the obvious
which
one to do... Exactly. Now, you see, I think vintage newsreader... you see, my initial thought was box trade windows is more difficult. But actually, I think it would be more difficult to do Tom Allinson.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Do Tom Allinson.
Okay.
Because I like to really stretch you.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Okay, how am I going to get into it? The Duke and Duchess of... Now, here is a short recitation about a man who won fortune and fame by making a right special flour.
Right.
Tom Allinson, that were his name. For just after the Industrial Revolution, all but he were for bread white as snow. They thought it were purer than wholemeal, but young Tom in a loud voice said, No, yon white bread's all right, that I'll grant you, but you've taken away some of clout. Wholemeal's better, all told, for young people because it's bread that's had nothing taken away at all. And now, over 100 years later, it's been proved beyond reasonable doubt. It were Tom Allinson's thoughts that were proper, and bread's better, with nothing taken out. I thank you.
Take that, Adolf.
I loved the fact that you didn't, even though we'd spoken about it, and you're absolutely right, for vintage newsreaders.
They wouldn't have done it, would
keep
they?
it all on the on a sort of similar track, don't they?
Yes.
So I like the fact that you didn't then lift the no, yon white bread's all right. You kept it all in a very, very,
Yes.
I had my
way.
dinner jacket
That was
on
it.
and everything.
Yes. Very
You
good.
could almost see the black and white with the bits of hair in it. It's
Yes,
lovely.
yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, my friends, if you want to play along in the privacy of your own booths, we've put the scripts in the show notes and you can have a try for yourself as well.
You can, and we would also love to hear from you if you have any wildcard genres you'd like us to have a go at in a future episode. So you can DM Mark or myself on social media, or just comment on the How Do You Say That posts, or email if you prefer. It's podcast@britishvoiceover.co.uk.
So then, to our voiceover question this week, and it's inspired by Bruce being here.
Ooh.
What's the as a kind of writer, what's the thing you love to see in a script, and what do you hate?
I like to see it well written. and that happens quite rarely.
Well, that is true. That is very true. We all don't like that bit. Yeah.
I think I like to see that there's the enthusiasm. I think I like to see that the writer's actually keen on what they're advertising. One of the things I mentor at the School of Communication Arts, so I teach young copywriters, and I'm very keen on, given my current profession, very keen to get them to read out loud what they're doing and actually sound as though they care.
Yes.
Which is given this kind of like this conversational read, to do a script that sounds like you care in a voice that sounds like you don't is quite tricky.
I've thought of what I like to see and what I hate to see in scripts. It's like I like to see punctuation. I don't like to see no punctuation. But you get it a lot. You get a lot of scripts where punctuation is literally all over the shop.
Yes. Ellipses all over the shop.
And does that put you off when you read it, or do you
No, I have to
rewrite
go
it
and
and
mark
put
it
them
up
in?
for myself. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I generally ignore it, yeah.
Yeah, you get a script through and it's like, oh, really? Who on earth wrote this? I had one this morning which literally put a full stop instead of a comma. And so in my first read that I did, it's like I came to the end seeing the full stop and then realised that it wasn't a full stop at all. And I had to go back and do that again. That was annoying.
Yes, teaching people grammar and punctuation and stuff. I don't think anybody does it anymore, do they?
I don't think it's in school anymore, is it?
Is it? You old farts. Of course they do.
It doesn't seem like they do from the scripts that we get.
No, indeed. Indeed. What about you, Sam? What do you like to see in
What I
a
like to see in
script?
Well, what I like to see in a script depends on, I suppose, or it's more crucial if you've got a directed session or a non-directed session.
Yep.
Because in and it also depends what the script is for and whether there's any up sound in it and all of that. So I wrote and have written thousands of scripts. And the thing with promos is that there's usually up sound in promos.
Yeah.
So you're wrapping the words around the up sound. So you've got to, what I want to see in a script is that they've left the right amount of time for you to say what they need you to say, but also that on the script they have specified the out words that are your cue. Because by the time you get into the actual voicing of it, you're not really watching. You've only got half an eye on it, but you're not really watching the promo itself. You are so concentrating on the script that you need to know what your out words are. And if they are inaccurate, you're fucked, basically.
Yes,
you
and
are.
if they haven't left enough time for, say, the tags, some of the tags are tiny, some of the tags are really long. If they haven't left enough time for the tags, again, you're fucked. So what I like to see in a script is accurate stuff on the page if I'm doing a live read to picture.
Yeah, I always ask people to make if it's a 30-second commercial, I would also say write it for 20.
Oh, God, yes. If only people listened to that, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yes, quite.
Well, I'm teaching the young ones coming through to do that.
Well,
so
good.
It might not be in our lifetime. But
so that we've got a bit of breathing room, exactly. Let me say a huge thank you to our guest, Bruce Fielding. Thank you, Bruce. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I've loved it. It's been great fun.
What else are you going to say? Because we're both right here.
It's been bloody terrible. You guys have just been having a crack at me.
We'll put all your details in the show notes. Do not panic.
Yes, absolutely. And remember, the easiest way to listen, you love this. This is Mark putting this in because he loves Alexa.
I wrote this bit.
Remember, everybody, the easiest way to listen to How Do You Say That is to say to your smart speaker, Alexa, play How Do You Say That?
Alexa, play How Do You Say That?
But of course, you can also subscribe on your favourite podcast platform and the latest episode will magically appear on your device every Friday.
It will indeed. We also love reviews, so do please leave a few words on Apple Podcasts if you feel so inclined.
Yes, and that is it for the Militant podcast this week. Thanks again to Bruce Fielding for being a superb guest. Thank you, Bruce.
Yes, thanks.
Pleasure. Thank you both very much.
And lots of gold in there, really. Lots of gold about the script writing. So tune in next week for more scripts and another fabulous voiceover guest. This is the bit where we do it all together when we'll be asking... How do you say that?
How do you say that?